The waters are beginning to flow again. The ice is gone. Warm winds set off the snowmelt. Even under the snow, the marmot's inner clock is right on time. There's nothing in these mountains that would escape an eagle's eye. High up on a tiny ledge, two delicate new lives have just begun. As spring cascades towards another alpine summer, thousands of parents will again raise the next generation of wildlife in the Alps. Europe's biggest cat. The Eurasian lynx is another revenant to the Alps after a century of absence. The lynx is an elusive, solitary hunter. Roe deer, abundant in alpine forests, are his preferred prey. Like most cats, the lynx hunts by surprise, not chase. Between hunter and hunted, it's a battle of the senses. Both animals pick up the slightest sound, the smallest movement. Cats can move noiselessly, like ghosts. Success depends on getting close enough for a surprise attack. The frustration is shared. The speed and force of the White Death is beyond comprehension. Heart-stopping violence fades into peaceful silence. A new sunrise, an expression of nature's indifference. The misfortune of some is fortunate for others. Ravens, as always, the first to descend on a funeral feast. A frozen chamois is not exactly fast food, yet the ravens must be quick before the sovereign claims his own. Both ravens and eagles depend on avalanche victims to make it through the winter and get ready for an early breeding season. Cleanliness is next to godliness, the old saying goes. And why not mix in a little playfulness? The storm is over, but other risks persist. Ptarmigans and hares are now replacing marmots on the eagle's menu. But the little animals in their winter suits are lucky. The eagle is distracted. A huge bearded vulture allows no stranger near his nest. Ignoring the sky, the youngsters are caught up in a play fight. In the eastern Alps, tracks in the fresh snow are evidence of chamois on their way back up to the high ridges. The forest offered shelter from the wind, but little food. The snow now lies deep. It's only on wind-swept hilltops where some grazing might be found. After a blizzard, the steep lee side of a mountain can turn into a hazard zone. The wind, the architect of avalanches, has moved enormous volumes of snow. Along the edges, it has piled up huge drifts. Tons and tons of wind-pressed snow projecting from sheer cliffs are a threat to every living thing below. Impossible to say when the spell will break. Wolves had almost become extinct in the Alps by the early 20th century. About a century later, their tracks in the snow appeared again. For thousands of years, red deer would migrate from the high Alps down to the floodplains of big rivers. But their migration routes are now cut off by roads and towns, so they stay in the mountain forest. Covered in water-repellent top hair, over a fluffy layer of wool, they can deal with the cold. It's the deep snow that wears them down, and the lack of forage, forcing them to subsist on a meager diet of bark and branches. Their bodies are now in energy conservation mode. In this state, having to flee from a threat will critically tax their reserves. For fast-flowing mountain rivers to freeze over, temperatures must drop further, and they will. The deer limit their movements to trampled paths between resting and feeding areas and nearby drinking places. In contrast to deer, a wolf's energy level stays high. Blood circulation never slows. Being much lighter than deer, wolves do not sink into deep snow as easily. After generations without wolves, bears and lynx in the Alps, deer are beginning to learn again about big predators. For a deer, the extra stress of a chase lowers the chances of surviving the winter. Remote valleys of the Alps have been abandoned by people in recent decades. Fortunate for red deer, the new wilderness offers alternative prey.